Philosophy can appear to some like a self-indulgent or luxurious pursuit, but it's actually quite the opposite. We all do philosophy every day, when we question whether a statement is true, or whether a decision is fair, or whether some object is beautiful, when we question our beliefs in science and religion, and when we think about how to treat other people, we are doing philosophy. If we were used to exploring these thoughts together from a young age, maybe our public debates would be less aggressive. Maybe we would be less likely to be swayed by charismatic leaders or to blindly follow powerful institutions. We are all philosophers. We are just out of practice. There are some schools in Ireland who have already introduced philosophical inquiry. Temple Carrig School in County Wicklow is one example.
Is faith real?
Is fate real?
Yes.
What makes you come up with that question?
Well, maybe his faith was that he was going to be homeless.
Okay.
Philosophy in schools is different. In a traditional classroom, there is one central authority. The teacher knows everything, thinks for the class, is the only one to talk, and is all-powerful. In a philosophical inquiry, the students lead the discussion. They come up with the questions, and they listen to and debate with one another. The teacher is a guide.
So what I'd like you to do is, thinking about all these pictures, which one of these people do you think has the most freedom?
Learning to be comfortable with uncertainty, to be okay with not knowing, and yet continuing to explore regardless, is a valuable lesson for life outside the classroom.
It's a different approach to teaching, and it's a different approach to knowledge, whereby the answers aren't located at the back of the book. You can't really cheat in order to pursue these kinds of questions and answers. I think it fosters in children a tolerance for ambiguity. It also fosters in children the idea that, first of all, philosophy is not about saying anything goes, or that there's no such thing as a right or wrong answer. It's more complicated than that. It's about pursuing questions and trying to get to the truth of the matter.
There are other different definitions of freedom, isn't there? We looked at remember the happy prisoner, Locke's happy prisoner story, so can you imagine a man who's in prison and he has everything he wants and he goes there voluntarily. Everything he wants, like his friends, Xbox, anything he wants to eat, and he never wants to leave. But is he free? If he wanted to leave, he couldn't because he is imprisoned, but he doesn't want to leave. So what do you think? Is that prisoner free?
It depends. If since he wants to stay there, then I think he's free. But if he wanted to get out, then he's obviously going to feel trapped inside until he gets out. But since he wants to stay there, and he doesn't want to leave, so then he'll feel like he's being not free when he has to leave.
Okay.
In this scenario, he won't change his mind because that's what we've laid it out as. But if he did, he wouldn't be able to leave. So there's like a path or a choice or an outcome what he can't do or go to, and he will never achieve that. And he therefore, like in my opinion, then he's not free because he can't do everything he could possibly do. Two
very different opposing definitions of freedom here. On the one hand, very focused on what consequences, so therefore it's always going to be limited with your definition. But for you, Sam, it's a feeling. Okay, so Jane, I'd love to hear what Jane has to say.
Behind philosophical inquiry is the simple idea that students are full human beings, with the same thoughts, questions and concerns about life that we all share. And so it prepares students for life in all its complexities. But it also happens to give students more traditional and practical skills.
There have been some recent studies, two studies in particular in the UK. They embedded this in the curriculum for 1 hour a week, and after 6 months, the students, pupils aged 10 to 11, were talking 20% more time in class. They were justifying the beliefs and opinions they had twice as often. So these are, they're observed all the time. This is a randomised controlled study. After 16 months, their IQ level had gone up by 6.5 points. Their numeracy and literacy improved, and they were also exhibiting pro-social behaviour. They were more patient toward each other. They were more courteous. Put like this, by the way, this was a cost of about £9 per pupil. It was estimated, and these gains were maintained 2 years later. So put in this kind of a way, so even if all we care about is numeracy and literacy, perhaps we should be introducing these kinds of inquiries into the classroom.
Person.